Welcome to another Just Flying episode, which will also be the next leg of the Highway 1 road trip as well. So we'll go and take off first, and then I'll tell you what we're up to today. It is slightly different to usual. Not too much wind, so yep, let's just go for it. Looking good. And we're away. Okay then, so following Highway 1 north from here, Kaikoura Airport, it's a bit far away as I don't like to make really long videos. Now the only scenery option we have of somewhere to land sort of en route is Corvedon, but that is a bit dull and boring. Yeah, there's not much there, nothing interesting to look at. It's just one of those places. You know, it's not particularly exciting to go there. And we could go further inland to Hurunui River, Hanma Springs, but that's taking us a good distance away from Highway 1, which we are supposed to be following on the Highway 1 road trip. So a quick look on the map, and very nicely positioned at about halfway between Rangiora and Kaikoura is a little town that's right on Highway 1, and well, I'm going to pronounce it Cheviot until somebody tells me otherwise. Then on my Plan G map you can see a pale purple kind of line thing, that's top left, and those are to denote runways. So it does look like there is an actual airfield there. Now, to be honest, on that same Plan G map there are some other purple lines not far from there, although those look like they may well be in the hills and mountains local to the town. So I'm thinking the chances of those being flat or usable are probably quite slim. But the one I showed in the picture, that's next to a road, the terrain there might be more friendly, and I'm guessing if we're going to be able to land anywhere close to Cheviot, that will be the place. Now, a sensible person would of course have gone there slew mode and had a look to confirm what the terrain is actually like and if it is usable. But I thought we could fly there in this next leg in a video and go there basically totally blind and see if it is possible to land when we arrive. Yeah, if not, then instead of following Highway 1 we might be landing on Highway 1 instead. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically it for today. We're heading to a point on a map and I've no idea what we're going to find when we get there. So hopefully you like surprises, because we're all going to have one, including me. Right down there, that's the town of Leithfield, which is home to about 1,000 people, and there's not a lot else to say about it really. But it is fairly close to the next town up ahead, which is Amberley. And that does have some intriguing things according to Wikipedia, which after reading about it, that has left me with more questions than answers. Now, apparently Amberley was founded in 1864 by a Mrs. Frederica Josephine Carter, and it says that the earliest residents included a blacksmith, a wheelwright and a carpenter. Then the very next sentence says that a courthouse was established just a few years later, so I can only assume that the blacksmith, the wheelwright and the carpenter all hated the sight of each other and were forever getting into fights between themselves, hence the need for a court. But things went okay for a few years after that, and in 1953 they made a decision, with work being completed by 1957, to install a water supply to Amberley. So after about 100 years of the residents dying of dehydration, that must have been quite a good thing. Then after discovering drinking liquids, a few years later work started in 1973, and by 1979 it says that about half of the properties in Amberley were then connected to a sewage system. So therefore I'm assuming that means that the other half of the properties, they still have to go round to a friend who is connected if they need a shit. Or is there maybe a large communal shitting facility somewhere near the town centre, maybe, where friends can go and meet up for a crap? So Amberley, which is currently populated by about 2,000 people, I think, meaning roughly 1,000 people do need to make use of the communal shitting facility, so it must be quite large. Now on Google Maps it says there is a public toilet next to the Amberley Hotel, but you're certainly not getting 1,000 people in there, are you? Unless, of course, the true scale is kind of hidden from view, and that's just the entrance to a massive underground shitting facility that can cope with those kind of numbers. Maybe on a few different underground levels. There'll be a male shitting floor, a female shitting floor, and possibly a third level for people who had a particularly spicy curry the previous night. That floor comes with much better ventilation and also chilled toilet paper. Although looking up the entrance to these massive underground caverns of crap, on Street View you can see that it currently has 4.2 stars from a total of 126 reviews. Which leaves me with the thoughts, who the fuck reviews a toilet? In fact, who are 126 people who have reviewed a shithouse? If I'm driving along with the turtle's head starting to appear, I don't care how many stars it's got. I can't see a situation where I decide, nope, it's okay, I'll carry on to Leithfield, as their public crapper has 5 stars from 3 reviews of people who went there and clearly had a truly blissful dump. Although by the time I do get that far I probably will need new underpants by then, but it will be worth it to have an evacuation in such truly magnificent surroundings. and looks like you can take a free bicycle when you leave, so maybe that's why it does get 5 stars. But enough of that, as and yeah, there seems to be quite a few wine-making estates in this area as we continue up Highway 1. Not sure what kind of conditions grapes actually like, but they obviously do well enough around here, judging by all the different wine places on the map. Or maybe there's just a lot of alcoholics around here, and yeah, the Dancing Water Vineyard and Winery. It's actually just a posh name for Steve's Pub, where they sell quite strong stuff and people drink it out of the bottle with a straw. Although there is a shuttle bus that goes every half an hour up to the public toilets at Greta Valley, which are also 5-star rated in the Google reviews, and the slightly longer journey time to get there, it's definitely worth it compared to that rubbish 4.2-star subterranean den of dumping that they have in Amberley. Yeah, you'd almost be better shitting in somebody's front garden, and I wonder if that had anything to do with the original blacksmith, wheelwright and carpenter, and why they needed a courthouse not long after those three moved in. No, probably nothing connected, is it? Probably. And anyway, as we are getting closer to Cheviot now, so reading about Cheviot on Wikipedia, it seems to be a place that you pass straight through on your way to somewhere else more interesting. Yeah, there's about 350 people who do live there, some of whom are the volunteer ambulance service, the volunteer fire service, and one guy who is an actual police officer. I don't think they have a blacksmith, wheelwright or carpenter, so one police officer is enough, obviously. Although it doesn't kind of have that feel of a place which is rife with gang warfare or a centre for mass organised crime, which would of course make Cheviot the ideal place to actually have the headquarters of your organised crime syndicate, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you never know, I suppose. Plenty of sheep farming there, and Google Maps doesn't actually show a location for the shop that sells wool products and does money laundering, so although I did notice there's a place called the Number 8 Cafe, and the Number 8 is considered lucky in Chinese culture, so perhaps there's the triads who actually no, better be careful here. Yeah, after Israel and the Hezbollah pages, I do have a Chinese Huawei phone which may well be secretly listening to me, so no, China would never be doing that. In fact, they'll never do anything wrong at all. They are a lovely country, and I really wish I was Chinese myself. And I really like rice as well. Yeah, rice is fantastic. You should have it with everything, as I always do. Although I think I will move the phone to the other side of the room and out of my pocket just in case, as having my penis blown off might not be the best day ever. I wonder how the Hezbollah guys are going to get on with their 72 virgins now. That could be a bit of an issue, I suppose. Yeah, but never mind. Anyway, Cheviot's just there, nicely under the cloud at the moment. Yeah, those other purple runway markings on the map that I talked about, they're more off to the right, so they are likely to be in the hills and mountains there. Less likely that those will be flat enough to land on. The one we're going to seems to be ahead and slightly to the left, which appears much flatter, so Fingers crossed. So pass over the totally not suspicious in any way at all cafe down there. And yeah, certainly a nice enough area of flat land around here, isn't there? So I think that's where it's going to be. See another little strip there. Look, don't think it's a runway, even though it might kind of look a little bit like one. I'll check that out later. It's this little light brown field here just to the right of the road. That's where the airfield supposedly is. Okay, so down this end we've got a hedge, some trees, some buildings probably. Adds a bit of interest to the airfield. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings actually on the airfield grounds, so they're probably hangars. Some more things beyond that. Okay, not a great deal of buildings and vegetation actually in the sim right now, but that's exactly what I add and fix and do when I'm making scenery, so that's not a problem. Certainly make all of that look nice enough. Yeah, I think first impressions this should be okay. Seemed flat enough as well, but that is part of the reason for flying the Baron with its really terrible ground clearance for props. It's great for test flying, because if you can land this one somewhere, you can probably land pretty much any other general aviation aircraft. Okay, bit of a slope on the place, but that's a good thing. Just adds a bit of visual interest, but certainly smooth enough to land on. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, the stuff around here to make it look nice seems okay. Yeah, I think we can definitely have a Cheviot airfield here. Yeah, yeah, I'll get to work on that. Right, so there may be 1 or 2 more just flying videos while we're waiting, but yeah, we'll just postpone the Highway 1 road trip versions just for a little while until I get this finished, and then when we resume the Highway 1 trip, our first flight will be out of the finished Cheviot airfield, and see what it looks like then. So yeah, quite a successful trip. That's a new thing to have a go at. Right then, I shall see you soon. Bye.